I've been testing something else out that has been very beneficial. So what I've been doing of late is splitting my ad budget further among more ads. Instead of having, one or two ads running at a higher budget, I'm running 5 or 6 ads at a fraction of the budget. So instead, again, of doing a 3-ad split test and running them all at 9, what I've been doing is 6 ads, 2, 2, and 2, each at $5 or $6 a day, if that makes any sense. So I'm calling it the split A/B test. It works very similar to the split test, what you've been doing, and all the reasons why we split test, we're still doing exactly that. Only now, instead of split testing one image, I'm essentially split testing multiple images, and then I'm a little bit quicker to make my decisions as to which ones to cut down. So again, it's throwing more wet noodles at the wall to see what sticks, essentially. So it takes a little bit more management, a little bit more day-to-day, get in it and look at it and build them. But I've been noticing enormous success. Also, one of the things that I want everybody to start looking at is in the column for spend. You guys can see how much money your ad has spent lifetime, but in brackets beside that, it is how much money Facebook is actually spending per day. And one of the big issues I've been noticing is people are setting their ads at, say, $9 a day. Facebook is actively spending $5 a day, $6 a day, whatever it is. Well, Facebook has a decision to make. We want that money, is what they're going to say. We're missing $4 a day, whatever it might be. How are we going to get that money? Again, this is me talking as Facebook, of course. But that's essentially what Facebook's starting to do. So now they have a decision to make. We want that money. How are we going to get it? Either A, we can force more people to start clicking on this ad, which is nearly impossible. Obviously, they're going to increase your reach, and hopefully they're going to put it in front of more people, and hopefully more people click. They can't really control that as much as they can control how much money they're charging you per click. And that's what I've been seeing is the increase. So as your ads are running and actively and effectively spending a fraction of your budget, Facebook says, okay, let's start charging more money per result. So they get to spend your $9, but what goes up in turn is your lead cost, right? So one of the big things I want everybody to start looking at is, again, in the spend column and in the last 7 days column of spend, the little brackets there. What is Facebook effectively spending on a daily basis? And then I would match my daily spend as close as I can to that number. If I'm at $9 a day and Facebook is spending $6.40, I'm going to reduce my budget down to $7 a day on that one ad, because that's what Facebook's telling me they're effectively spending so that my costs don't continue to go up. The other benefit of spreading your money amongst multiple ads is that with the day-to-day management of things, what I've been finding really effective is moving $1 or $2 from one ad into a different ad that's working at the same time. And if one ad starts to slow down for whatever the reason, we all know Facebook, if something begins to slow down, it's nice to be able to course correct and not be completely out of running an ad. If you've got one ad running and all of a sudden your lead cost spikes, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to pause that ad and you're going to go back to the split test and you're going to go back to trying to establish an ad that's running. Well, if you've got 3 ads or 4 ads that are all running well and one starts to sour, no harm, no foul. I'm going to remove budget from that one and start adding budget back into one of my other ones so I remain more consistent. Consistency is the key. So that's one big one for me that I've really been noticing. So again, to reiterate, instead of doing one 3-ad, $9 each ad split test, consider doing, 2, 2, and 2. And what I would change is maybe the one I would do, let's say we're doing seller ads. I would do an aerial of my location, knowing that that's more than likely the one that's going to work. We like those images. They seem to work. Why not try something else as well? So maybe my second split test, I try, what's your home worth ad with a picture of a home, a blue home. And then another one, I'm going to try a different style of home, a different color, something different. So the images themselves are materially different. The template you're building from is the same. So again, that's kind of what I've been seeing as the split A/B test. And happy to take any questions that anybody might have on that.
That's awesome, Logan. Do you have an example of that test that's running?
At this point, I don't have any that are largely going. I can quickly dig through and find one that we've recently eliminated a bunch of the ads off of. One of the gentlemen's on this call now. I don't know, Jay, do you mind if I share your account here for a sec?
Hey, while you pull that up, Logan, the question is, if you split test in 3 ads and 2 are good and 1 starts tanking, why would you not shut the one that's tanking off?
It depends on a number of factors. So I'm hoping that, again, consistency being what it is, if I've got 3 ads that I've been able to keep live for, let's say, months, if we're in the first couple days or a week or so, absolutely make a decision, kill an ad that's not doing well. But if you've got an ad, 3 ads, let's say, that have all been doing well for months and months and months, you really want to keep that one going. So what I would tend to do is one starts to increase in cost. I'm going to begin reducing my budget from that one, but I don't want to kill it yet. I just want to tell Facebook I'm not really happy with what you're doing now. I'm happy with what you've done long-term on this ad. So I do want to keep that ad going. I probably garnered a lot of likes and shares and clicks and comments. So Facebook is in a decent area with that one, but it started to slow down. So now I'm going to remove budget from that one. If I'm running those at like $6 a day, let's say, I'd probably reduce all the way down to $3 a day. Right? And then I'd take that $3 and I'd probably put it into my other ads and then give them a little while. And then slowly what I tend to see is that one that I've now reduced from 6 down to 3, its lead cost per email will almost always begin coming down. At $3, it's not going to be an effective ad bringing in a ton of leads. I'm just trying to kind of cool it down. And then as I start to see the lead cost coming down on it, I'll start putting money back behind it. So it's just kind of moving your budget around as effectively as possible.
Logan, this is Adrian. I just wanted to understand. I launched, I think, 2 different ads last week, of course, with the 3 options. And I got excellent results, 2 out of 3 in both cases. And I was tempted to keep them all alive. That's what you're talking about, right? They were basically at the same dollar value, 2 out of 3. And so I thought I'm getting good leads from both of them. So I should just shut down one and keep the other 2 going. That's what you're talking about, right?
And the other part, to continue along with the Adrian part and what you said, in the past, you guys had said you don't want to reduce your ad spend by too much because it would change the metrics of the ad, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to change the algorithm. So if I've got an ad that's doing well and I increase or reduce the budget by more than 25%, I'm going to force the algorithm to retest, relearn. So if it's lost the algorithm that I'm happy with, that's actually what I'm trying to force, right? So I'll show you this. So this is something that when I was doing Jay's ads, I picked an image that I liked and I ran 2 using this image. This particular one came out at $4 a lead. At the same time, I ran this one and you can see they were created on the same day, right? So I would have done 2 of this image and I did 2 of this image. It just so happened one of each hit. And I don't want, if I can help it, and more to your question, Adrian, if these 2 images were identical, I don't really want them running at the same time for overly long. I would rather, if I can, to have a different image on the ads that are running long term. Again, during the split test, absolutely, I'm going to have multiples of the same.
Right. Another question. You mentioned just currently when you're talking dollar value, the possibility of reducing the budget. Do I have to relaunch to do that?
No. So like look at this ad here, for instance.
Right.
You've got it set at $6 a day, and its lifetime, it's spending $5.69. There isn't enough money left for another click, meaning that Facebook is spending up to the limit very effectively. It's gone down to $5.75, but a quarter isn't going to get me another click. And what I'm noticing for that is my reach is still pretty strong, but more importantly, $2.55 a lead is good, but $1.44 is better. So I'm always striving for better. And these are the little things that I've been noticing is making sure that, again, these values, the value that Facebook is actually spending per day lines up with what you're telling them they can have. Otherwise, Facebook tries to find that money and it begins with a cost per click increase, which turns into a cost per lead increase.
Right. So what you do is just edit the ad to make the change in the budget.
Yep. You just come in here. Like, for instance, this one here was starting to get away from us a little bit. And so I reduced the budget from 6 down to 4. And if I'm not mistaken, it had already gone up a little bit, but we're already back down to $4 a lead. And as you can see here, it's just over. So if I was happy with this one now, which I am, hey, I'm going to give it $1. So I'm just going to come in here and say, you can have $1 back. There you go. Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you, Logan.
You're welcome.
Logan, follow up on this. Have my hand ready. I've got an ad right now. Let me get your input on this. It is the downsizing ad. My current budget is $5 a day. it is over the last 7 days spent $1.94. So you're saying reduce that down to $2 from $5, because that's way more than a 20% swing, correct?
Let's go have a look at yours specifically. Do you mind if I share your screen here?
You're more than welcome to share it. It's the only ad that I've got. I've got stuff in remarketing, but that's the only ad. Getting ready to add a seller ad probably today.
Let's just have a quick peek at this together real quickly. All right, share my screen and let's investigate. Okay, so it looks like you have possibly recently reduced it, and this is different. This number down here is the number that we're looking for. The number one I said in brackets that I'm worried about is more this number here. So yours, you've told Facebook they can have $5. They've been spending $6.38. So my assumption is that this one was running at 7 or 9, more than likely. Is that accurate, Campbell?
Yep.
And so you've recently reduced it down to 5, and Facebook is now getting down there. So they were lifetime 6.38. Now, last 7 days, it's at 5.18. With that reduction in price, you can see your lead cost was $5.38. It's all the way down to $2. So for whatever reason, micro budgets are doing really well. So if I was you in your case, I wouldn't touch this one at all any further.
Even alone.
Absolutely where it is. And if
that's why I wanted your input before I monkeyed with it.
Right? $2 a lead in your area is fantastic. $2 a lead.
I'm happy with that.
Right? I would absolutely leave this alone. This is absolutely telling us that, again, Facebook is optimized. We're becoming more efficient. We're happy with that. If you've got more budget to spend, I'd run different ads at this point and leave this one entirely alone. And even if you're going to go downsize, try a different image than this one. This one's proving to work, but you don't want to become your own competition. So I would do a different ad now. If you want to spend more money on ads. Otherwise, I'd be happy with this performance.
I'm going to leave this one alone. I'm going to add a seller ad right now because prices have come down on that.
So that's what I would do for you is on your seller side, come in here, choose one of the two funnels, either if someone wanted to buy your home or the what's your home worth. And if it was mine, I would do 2 ads at $5 each using a red home, 2 ads at $5 each using a blue home that's a different architectural style, and then 2 more ads using an aerial of your location. And then tomorrow morning, I'm eliminating probably 3 of the 6 ads, 1 from each set. And then the next day, I'm choosing which one of those 3 remaining seems to have hit the best. And then I'm probably making 2 cuts and leaving myself 1 of all 6 left.
Follow up on that. I don't know that an aerial is going to do well in our area. We're in suburbia, so there's no real landmarks.
Perfectly fine. I think
a map image is probably going to do better than an aerial for our area.
And that's why you do the split A/B is that first off, you got to follow your gut, right? So whatever you think is going to work, absolutely test that. But at the same time, I get people all the time telling me, and in fact, when we started doing the downsize ad, 18 months ago, I had a number of people, nobody's downsizing in my area. That'll never work in my area. Well, fast forward to today, it is by far our best running ad.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's one of those things where you don't know until you try it. And the test of it is so... it's going to cost you $10 to run 2 ads at $5 a day on an aerial. And hey, if it falls flat on its face, $10, that sucks. But if it hits like we hope it does, it's just another ad that's going to be more effective for your area. So in my opinion, that's why we test it that way now. Do the split A/B, run more ads with more variability to them, give them a day, 24 hours. If something's going to work, usually you'll start to see some type of progress on it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's what I got for you guys. If you have any more questions, perfectly happy to answer. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just be a fly on the wall and enjoy the rest of this mastermind.
That was awesome, Logan. So who has questions for Logan?
Well, one more thing I was also just quickly going to say, we are also still opening up more slots for the ad management program. So if anybody is still interested in learning more about that, more than likely you've already been sent an email. Otherwise, I'll put in one of my links in the chat section. If anybody wants to have a call to, discuss whether or not having us run your ads for you would make sense for you, there's no commitment necessary on that. Obviously, it's just a discovery call to make sure that it would be a good fit. I've already met with a good number of you guys on that. So if we have anybody else who would like a little bit more, discussion as to whether or not it's beneficial to have us running your ads for you, you can book in with me and we can have that talk. Otherwise, still again, happy to answer any questions. Hilaire, looks like you had your hand up. Go ahead if you like.
Hi, Logan. When we spoke the last week, you said that something on my thing was turned off and it wasn't syncing. I think it was not syncing with Facebook. Do you remember that conversation?
I'm afraid I don't, but it sounds like a total
Okay.
issue, perhaps. I can quickly check
Maybe.
your account if you like.
I promptly lost the note that I wrote as far as what I was supposed to do.
Let me quickly check and see what I've noted on my side, and I'll send you a message here in a sec.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a quick question. Can we go into one of our inactive seller ads that was working before and reactivate that again? How does that strategy work, Logan?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do is I reduce to a point. So let's say, for instance, I'm running at $9 a day, and I notice that, again, it's spending $7, and I've got a lifetime lead cost of like $5 and a last 7-day lead cost of like $30. That's a prime example. So now I'm going to look at that and go, okay, this ad has spent thousands of dollars running for months and months and months, and for the life of it has been really good. But its last 7 days, it's struggled. I need to make a change. So now what I would do is I'd reduce its budget from maybe 9 down to 6, right? Now I'm going to sorry, go ahead. So I'm not sure. Either. I would reduce it, say, from 9 down to 6, and I'd let it sit there for a little bit. Then I'm going to watch the last 7 days column to make sure that my ad cost or my lead cost does begin to come down. If it doesn't after, I'd say, 2 days, I'm reducing it again from 6, probably all the way down to 3. I'm going to then look at that number again in the last 7 days under my email, right? Did that number now, is it come down to a number I'm happy with? If not, I drop it off the map. It goes from 3 to 0, and I turn that ad off entirely. Well, I'm probably going to give it about 2, maybe 3 weeks. Then I like to go back through and I don't focus on the last 7 days number. I'm looking at the lifetime number, and I might choose one that had a good lifetime, and I'm going to turn it back on. Not a split test, nothing like that, but go back through some of your old ads and try turning them back on and watch them for 2 days. And oftentimes what I'll see is that an old ad, again, it has lots of likes and shares and clicks and comment and social currency, so to speak. So turning it back on, oftentimes, again, you take an old ad that has positive engagement in the past, reapply it, and it seems like Facebook does take off with those typically. So absolutely, Campbell, if it's been a couple weeks since you've run one of your old good ads, give it a go. But be really quick to turn it back off if you notice that the spend is still out of line. Any other questions? Awesome.
All right. What a way to kick off the mastermind. That was awesome. All right. Who has any wins or stories or questions or celebrations that they have from the week? See those hands.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hey, I just started with you guys last week, and so far it's a great service. Thank you. I'm learning this. This mastermind's been excellent for some of the strategy. My question is, I deal in properties that fall a little bit outside of the rural residential. I was wondering if there is a template where I can specify acreage and that kind of stuff, or if there's a template that works more for selling land. Like one of the ones I'm running now is a 107-acre ranch with 104 acres of water rights, but there's no good template that necessarily fits into.
If it's a property listing specifically, you can use the new listing. The property listing V1 lead ad would be the one I would use for that. That way you can specify what it is and everything like that. And then if it's not a specific listing and you want to more promote acreages, so to speak, then I would use the standardized buyers ad. And that way on that, it should be the top right in your account. You could just type in the location and then type in, homes on acreage or something like that as the amenity. That would probably be the way I would do it. If you'd like, today's custom ad class might be a little bit shortened as I have an appointment right after, but for anybody who wants to join, I'll be running today's custom ads class from noon Pacific Standard until about 12:45 or so. So if you want to jump on that one, Richard, I'd be happy to walk you through a few ideas as well.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
One quick question: if he runs that ad that's rural, should he spread the distance out more than the 15 miles to attract more traffic, or just leave it at the 15 miles like you guys usually recommend?
For a property listing, I like to expand my radius. For buyer's ads, I like to expand my radius. If I'm looking like for the downsize ad, even though it looks like a buyer's ad, that one I keep to 15 miles because the intended purpose is to get listings, and I would prefer listings within as short a distance as I can. Whereas if I'm promoting for buyers, I don't really care where they come from. So if I've got a listing that I'm promoting, I personally, again, depending on your area, of course, you guys all know your areas better than we might, but for me, if it was a property listing, yes, Leon, I would suggest boosting that as much as possible. And I might even consider dropping multiple pin drops. I might look at my area and say, hey, I know for me, Calgary and Vancouver, two huge cities that kind of bookend us. Those people might be interested in acreages in Kelowna or pool homes in Kelowna or whatever. So I'm going to drop my primary pin drop in my location, knowing that that's what's going to keep the ad running smoothly. But knowing where people are coming from, I would absolutely drop multiple pin drops on my property listing. Yeah. Tanya, looks like you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, what time is that class again today? The custom ad?
It's at noon Pacific Standard, so you can find it if you go into the dashboard and go to book a class. Right on the front page of StreetText dashboard, all of our classes are there, including that one. And the times,
thank you.
In your time zone, which is a lot easier.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Logan, I have a question. So what do you think about multiple listings? Do you recommend we put all the multiple listings in one ad or separate ads for those listings?
Like if you have, let's say, 3 different homes that you currently have under contract, is that correct? I personally would run separate ads for all of them. I think, anytime I have a listing, my primary duty is to the individual who owns that home. My job is to sell their home for them, much as I would an open house. However, somebody walks into an open house that I'm currently running and says, oh, this home has a pool. I don't want a pool. Okay, well, your options are to fill in the pool, which is going to cost you X amount, or maybe this isn't the right home for you. And we agree it's not the right home for them. Well, now I've lived up to my duty to the homeowner to sell their home. This home's not going to work for them. So now I'm going to take those buyers and help them buy something different. And I treat my property listings exactly the same way. So I would have if I had 3 listings, I would absolutely promote all 3 separately so I can bring that back to the homeowners and say, look, I'm promoting your property and look at all the leads that I'm getting from this as well, right? So absolutely, I would separate them.
Yeah, because the reason that I asked these questions, I have 6 listings right now. And if I want to separate and run each ad for them separately, each of them is going to be like 3 ads. You're talking about like 18 ads. I couldn't get that graph. So how do you handle that?
What I would do in that case is do the split A/B. Instead of doing three ads at $9 a day for each, I would do 2 at maybe $5. So that way you're running 2 ads for one listing at $5. That's $10, $10, $10. That's $30, which again is more than you're going to want to spend long term. After 24 hours, I would eliminate at least 1 of each. So now you're at $15 to be promoting your listings a day. And I think that would be in the right realm. You can also, for me, if I've got too many listings to afford to promote, good problem to have, of course. But I would probably prioritize 1 or 2 that either A, I might feel more problematic to sell and is going to need a little bit more promotion to get sold, or B, the ones that I think more people are interested in so I can get more leads from it. I would choose one of those reasonings. And yeah, I mean, you kind of, if you have too many listings to promote all of them, you kind of have to cherry pick the ones that, again, either they're going to be harder to sell and I need to promote, or I'm going to get more leads from. That's probably the way I would do it. But yeah, I'd try to promote them all if I can, and I would simply reduce the budgets that I was running the ads at in order to accommodate.
What do you think about the market?
Are they all in the same area?
Well, they're all in Las Vegas. Same area?
Like,
no.
You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, see, if I was in the same area, I'd run a buyer ad with those so that they got a selection just to get them curious enough to click on it and see what you have.
Yeah, I think Leon's saying it makes a lot of sense as well if they are all, in a 55 plus community, or if they all have pools, or if they all have similar amenity here. If they all fit under a particular banner, then promote that banner. See all available homes with a 3-car garage in Summerlin, something like that, knowing that all of your listings have that amenity, because then anybody takes interest, you then send them those listings specifically through email or whatever it may be. That's absolutely a wise strategy as well. So I think it's a matter of testing all sorts of different things. And the one thing that I'll tell anybody who will listen is that Facebook leaves breadcrumbs. Facebook is pretty quick at letting us know what's working even before we start seeing leads. You can start to see which one of your ads is working quicker. So I'm a little bit quicker when I'm doing the ad management side to run more ads now, so long as I'm also quick to eliminate the ones from the tests that don't seem to be providing what I'm looking for instantly. And again, you're just building ads, lather, rinse, repeat. Build a bunch of ads, turn off a bunch of ads, and just keep doing it until you have your database, your cohort, so to speak, of ads running that you're happy with. And then you just move budgets around long term. Once you have ads established that are in line with what you're looking for, it's really just moving budgets around for months and months and months, and you can keep them active.